Good morning, Allison.
Good morning, Susan. Happy almost December. December
Yes,
when this airs. It's hard to believe that we are at the end of the year. How are you doing?
good. Yeah. It's always I always look forward to our conversations and today's a fun one. It's just you and I talking about a variety of topics that we've uh decided upon for our end of the year review podcast, sort of speak.
Yeah, well, December's hard. Everybody is super busy, including us and people that we might want to have on as guests. And I thought this would be a fun way to end up the year. Um, we've talked to a lot of great people this year. We have some amazing stuff coming up, which we are only going to tease you with by saying they are amazing and not tell you who they are. Um, but yeah, it's kind of nice. I feel like this time of year, there's so much going on personally with family and blah, blah, blah. And then as small business owners, which we both are, this is a very busy time of year. So we just thought we'd get on and chat, you and I. But we do have some structure and we do have some
Yes.
topics for today. So today we are going to talk about some, and not in this order specifically, but we're going to talk about some holiday photo gifts that you could consider. We're going to talk about some tech stuff that you can consider as gifts and things you might just want to use on your
Yourself.
own
Yeah.
yourself. Talk a little bit about some of our podcasts that we've had this year because they'll tie in a bit and just, kind of have a fun morning, keeping it loose for December.
Yes. Which is a nice, change. Yeah. All right. Well, let's get
Yeah.
started. So you can start with let me hear one of your gift ideas.
Okay. So I love photo gifts. I always have, long before I became a photo organizer and did all the stuff. I always love them. So there are some basics that are, the kind of normal. You can essentially slap your photo on anything, I've discovered. But they've gotten you totally can. Aprons and pot holders and, you can just print photos, but puzzles and you can do mouse pads. I've had this one, whoops, for a while.
Yep.
I've noticed that the L in the middle, notice this is kind of funny. My dog. I'm trying to like get that in.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
there you go. Yeah,
those are
cute.
all centered around my dog. And notice the L in the middle is for the dog. So,
Yeah.
that stuff, you can literally go onto any site and just peruse the gifts. I've done playing cards, that kind of thing. But one of the really cool things I found this year, which I've never seen before and wish that I had found it when my kids were younger, is you can actually send a picture in to Lego and you can get back a Lego set with your picture on it.
Wow.
I have not tried this, but it just looks really cool. My boys were into Legos for years, and this would have been like the greatest gift ever. I'm still actually thinking about it. I know they don't listen to this podcast, so I can say that. Just because I think it'd be really fun.
That would be
So
fun.
yeah, that's a new one this year that I hadn't seen before.
Cool.
Yeah. How about you?
I used to do calendars for my parents, and it would be photos that I had taken of the family or on my trips or whatever. So that was my go-to. Or just, even printing out in a really nice canvas or on a metal frame, doing something different with a photo as a gift to give someone so that they've got, a photo of mine and
Mhm.
you know, it's on a it's not just your typical, paper print. So, I put it on glass or I put it on metal or do canvas, a wraparound. So something fun like that. So I kind of stick to the basics or a book,
Yeah, books are a lot more effort. I
they
feel
are.
like by December 1, probably people aren't going to be doing books just because they take a little bit more time. I will say I printed my very first print on a metal substance. I'd never done that before, but I had this great picture of a lion that I took a couple years ago and I wanted to try it out. And it is beautiful. Metal
Yeah.
prints are gorgeous. I do think you have to pick the right photo. They're a little bit shiny, or
Yeah.
maybe it was just this one that I ordered. Um, but they are
Yeah.
beautiful.
They are on the shiny side. The
Yeah.
one that I printed out when I went to go visit my family in Canada, I had taken a picture of a butterfly, and so I did three of them, one for me and one for my aunt and one for my sister, half sister, and yeah, they loved them. And I actually just printed them because my collection had been up in SmugMug at the time, and so I just printed it through SmugMug because they will guide you on all the different sizes and um, you know, printing methods, and you can pick the one that fits the print the best. And the other thing I did once with a sunset, which is really nice, is you chop it up into three partitions.
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah.
love
So
those.
so
Yeah.
that there's like little gaps in between. So yeah. So I've done that
Yeah.
with them as well. And that's a little bit more challenging because you really have to have a good quality high resolution print in order to do that, or file.
Yeah.
So yeah, but those are
And
all.
since this is a tip show in part, let's just remind people listening that if you are going to print something bigger or on metal, just make sure it's a high quality
Yeah.
photo first. Don't go printing that, 50 kilobyte photo that your sister's husband's brother's
Sent you.
son sent you after sending
Yeah.
it to 18 other people. So just make sure you have a high quality print. And here's another little one that I learned over the last year or so that I did not know, because people always ask us all the time, well, where should we print? And there are a lot of good printers out there. I've not printed through
Smug
SmugMug,
mug.
actually. I have heard that they are
Yeah.
really good. I printed my metal print through Forever. I've done through Printique. I've done through MPix. I've done, variety. The thing I didn't know until probably 6, 8 months ago is there are only like three printers that work
So
with these
they're all
companies.
going to the same
They're all going to
vendor.
the same place. There's
Yeah.
different categories of quality, so that's what you have to look for. And generally, the higher the price, the better the quality. But the printers themselves, it's like three,
Yeah.
which I had no idea.
Yeah.
It's just interesting.
Yeah.
It's just interesting.
Well, I
Um,
used to be in the printing industry in the mid 90s. I was the pre-press person in the office. That meant I did everything on the computer to set up the three color separation or design the logos or do something of that, and then burn the plates. So we would take the design and then have to burn the plate. And then I gave the plates to the pressman and he put it on the press. And so things have changed,
yeah,
from then. But it's interesting that when I talk about my background, that it just keeps like revolving around, photography and computers and digital design, and,
yeah.
just keeps swirling around in that universe, but it's fun.
I do think that our backgrounds, and this I think is true for pretty much anyone. I mean, your background really feeds everything that you do. So when
And
I
your
get,
love for it.
yeah, exactly. When I get these big, huge digital photo organizing projects, I don't think I find that they're not overwhelming. And I think that's what, because as an attorney, especially a young, they call this baby lawyers, in your first couple of years and you're stuck with all the documents, it's dealing with billions of pages of stuff. And so you get used to it. And then figure out how it fits into your next profession or next phase. And anyway,
Right.
that's taking us into a different area that we don't need to go.
But it's always fun to pull out those little, background tips, or experiences to share. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I found another really, when I was doing research on cool gift ideas, I found another one that I had never seen before. And it is, you remember those old Viewmasters from
Yes.
like the
I
1980s? You hold the big thing. I wish I had one to show you, like visually, everybody. I don't, but you stick the little round um, film in that
negative.
little white
Yeah.
thing with, the white cardboard thing, and there's
Yeah.
12 or 14 little tiny, tiny pictures in them, and you look through it and they're 3D. I think like Disney always had some or whatever. Well, they've brought those back and you can actually make your own.
Oh my
So
gosh.
you can get like seven, I think it's seven pictures that you send in. I just got to float down here and remind myself what the company is that I found that was doing it. But you send in seven
Pictures.
photos, seven pictures, and they will create a like the round cardboard thing, which I'm sure has a name, the reel for you.
Yep.
And you get your, and it sends you, send your little ViewMaster. I mean, how fun of a gift
Oh
would
my
that be?
gosh.
Especially for like, I'm thinking like
Nostalgia. Yeah.
a dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be
Uncommon
really fun.
Goods. I'll just mention that. They're from Uncommon Goods is where I
Okay.
found them. And we'll obviously be linking the stuff at
Yeah.
in the show
If you go
notes.
to insidephotoorganizing.com, we'll have links to where all the stuff we are talking about and sharing with you today.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But I thought that was a really funny one. And they make it look old-timey. They don't try and make it look new because really, why would they bother? Because the only
Right.
people that are going to buy this are people of a
Want the
certain age
nostalgia. Yes.
like us. And then we might buy it and, stick some things on there, but super fun and
Yeah.
kind of unusual. I think of that as a gift when you really can't think of something or for somebody that likes photos but has
Everything else.
everything.
Yeah.
I think that's a fun one. Um,
All right. Well, to go along
yeah.
with that, one of the things that I love, especially now that for marketing purposes or whatever, so it doesn't have to be, it could be for you or it could be a gift. But when you get together during the holidays and you put your camera on a camera stand and you want to get a group photo, I've got numerous pictures of me running back to the group because, I didn't give myself enough timer or something like that. So
10-second timer, Susan. 10-second timer.
you get me, running back to the group. So anyway, if you get one of these little Bluetooth shutter release buttons. So this one just happens to come from a company, but you can get some generic ones, which I will post on our site. So that is a quick, easy little gift to have and then bring with yours, along to your group or family gathering and make your life easy. So it'll work with your cell phone or it'll work with any other device that you can connect with a Bluetooth.
Okay. I think you can do that with the Apple Watch too. I've not done it, so maybe I
Yeah.
shouldn't be saying that, but I believe you can do that.
Yeah.
But that would just be to your own phone.
Your
So
own
if you
phone.
wanted to
Right.
use it with somebody else's
Else's. Yeah.
equipment, your little
Yeah.
doohickey there,
And you might
technical
even
term
be able to
doohickey.
tell the lady with the S or, the other lady with the A, you know, hey, Shlomo, whatever, take a picture. So there's
Yeah.
also programmatic things that you might be able to do with your phones if you check that out.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah, those are fun. Those are fun. And there's actually something else to consider for that, which I think you have a couple to show us, are like little mini tripods
Oh yeah.
or something so that you can actually put that camera in a good spot and you're not just capturing, this much of somebody's head. Um, do you have some of those? I
Yeah.
believe.
So this one is um uh an interesting tripod and almost like a handheld. Um, so I'm gonna just turn off my background here shortly so that you guys can see it a little bit better. Okay. So this one is kind of interesting because it collapses down and it becomes very portable. Um, and this shrinks down, making it very compact. And then you can unscrew this holder here. So if you want to take a selfie, you just extend it and twist it into the lock position. It also comes with a little Bluetooth shutter release. And then what's really cool is after you get done taking your selfies or walking around, then you can open it up and stand it somewhere on a table or something. So I really found this to be very versatile. It's small enough that I can actually put it on my table here so I can capture videos for social media
Mhm.
and whatnot. And this is just a simple phone holder, and it's got your I don't know what the connection is, but if you have a any regular size phone should be able to fit in that. The other one that I have is um, a little bit more bulky, so not really, so much travel worthy, but you can squish it down. So it's not too bad. But this has a camera holder as well, and then you can
Is
attach
that attached
it.
to a table?
Yeah, you can attach it and to a table or whatever. So this one's like an adjustable arm, and this is great if you're trying to again take um, photos where you need to point your camera down at something. Maybe you're trying to take a picture of something that doesn't go on your scanner and you need to lay it on the floor or something. So just
Mhm.
something small like that. Again, I
And
use it for selfies and other variety of tasks that I do with my business.
some of those come with lights attached too.
Yes.
I have one when I'm trying to video like a photo book for something. I have terrible lighting all over my office, everywhere. I have no good place to record any of that stuff. So I have one that's kind of like that, that
And
has
it has a ring
a ring
light.
light.
Yes.
Yeah, that goes, the camera goes in the middle, or the phone goes in the middle, and then the ring light goes around.
Yeah.
And that's actually helpful. But I do like those for family photos because, you know, almost all my family photos, we're doing it like this.
Right.
Right. So my oldest son has freakishly long arms. So he is the one who is always tasked with doing it. But everybody looks kind of funny. You know, everybody's sort of off to the side and, you know, looking, and you've got that person on the end with half a face. And,
Yep.
you know, so having a little tripod, if you want a slightly nicer picture, um, and maybe you get a really good picture, and then next year's present is that picture on a metal frame, two
Right.
years in one,
Right.
right? 2 years in one,
Exactly.
solving
Yeah.
all sorts of problems today. Um, yeah, I do like those though. I actually just ordered a little tiny one that is it attaches via MagSafe on the back of the phone. I don't have it yet. It's actually arriving today, but it's like this big and it's super, super skinny. So really easy for travel. So I could
That's
report
awesome.
back, but I don't actually have it yet.
Cool. All
Yeah.
right. So what other photo gifts you got?
Okay, so we've got how about some experience gifts? So we've had on the show in episode 12, I think, we had Robert Marks of Projector. I love Projector as a gift because if you haven't listened to that episode, or you just need a reminder, Projector is a video streaming app that looks just like Netflix, but it's your own videos. So this makes an amazing gift. I have did this for my in-laws, where I took a bunch of our photos of the kids. You know, they live in a different country, so they don't see us as often, and I upload the videos on there, and all they need is their remote. You know, I did have to help them download the app to their TV.
Right.
They a little bit tech unsavvy, whatever word you want to use for that. But once we talked them through getting the app on the TV, which is quite simple, you literally just search your app store, look for Projector, and there it is.
Just like
Then
you would
they
Netflix or something.
Exactly, the exact same way. But now they, you know, I can just upload videos there and they can see them on the big screen and they can flip through. And I love that as a gift. If you've had any videos converted lately, stick them up there. I've got a couple of clients who are finishing up a whole bunch of video conversions, and that's where we're putting them. And they're going to look at them over the holidays. Now, one thing is, you know, you might think, well, I could also just mirror my phone. Yes, you can. I will tell you that for my in-laws, that was not an option because they don't know how to do it. Their phones aren't that old. And then they end up saving that video in 16 different places, right? If I email it to them and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So I do really love that as a gift, especially if you can set it up for the person, like have it ready to go. And if
Right.
it's somebody coming to your house or you're going to their house, even better. It's like, hey, look what I've got. Right. And pull out some of those older videos, even if it's not stuff you've converted, but look back on your phone and find some of the older ones, some of the ones that, you know, might spark some additional memory.
Yeah, you don't have to upload your entire video gallery.
No,
You wanna
you don't want to upload your entire video gallery,
right.
frankly, just the good
Yeah,
stuff.
just the good stuff. Exactly. It shouldn't be, looked at as a long-term storage for video. This
Yeah.
is something for sharing and enjoyment. So it
Yeah.
should be your best of the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can set categories like Netflix. So my categories are before kids, vacation, and then kids, because that's literally how my life seems to go. Those are the only things that matter. It's before kids, kids, and vacation. But you can actually set just like on other streaming platforms, you can say, instead of drama, comedy, although I do have a comedy playlist on that app.
That's
I
funny.
do have yes, I do have that. Because we have some family videos that are just gold. Anyway, but I really, really like that as a gift because I do like experience gifts. I tend, especially as my family's gotten older, I don't like a lot of stuff in the house. When kids are little, it's hard to get away from that. But once you're just dealing with adults, I find that
It that's
better.
that I mean, once you're of a certain age and people give you gifts that may not necessarily be something that, you know, what to do with after they give it to you. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, great, thanks. You put it on a shelf or you display it or whatever. But the ones that are memories, the ones that, as you say, are experiential, that you can go back
Mhm.
and relive a time together, like
Yeah.
another one of my examples. So you talked about projector. I'm going to talk about those digital frames.
Mhm.
So there's two main companies I think that most people look at, Nixplay and Aura. Aura is spelled Aura, and Nixplay is Nixplay. And both companies have these digital photo frames. So that's another way that you can upload. You can do small videos, and they're mostly designed for photos, and then they'll do a slideshow of whatever you collect. And I personally have the Nixplay, so that's what I'm familiar with. Um, each of them have their own features and feature set, and uh, Nix Play, for example, it does offer a membership and it gives you more benefits and more storage. So check both of those out during the holidays. They often do have great deals, like almost 40%
Mhm.
on some of their frames. So again, if you've looked at it before and it looked price prohibitive, keep checking on it because they do offer great deals occasionally. And this is something that you could load up, have it delivered to your house, put everything
Mhm.
on it, wrap it back up, and then send it to your family member if they live out of state. And then when they unwrap it and they plug it in, there's all your stuff that you're sharing with them. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And the cool thing too about those frames, and I haven't played with Aura. I've heard good things about them.
Yeah.
I just haven't used it. I also have I have an X Play. I have a really old one, which you actually have to plug in a thumb drive or an SD card into it for the photos. But a few years ago, we got my parents a newer one, and the really fun thing, and I know Nixplay does this. I'm only assuming Aura does it as well, but don't quote me on that one. Is that you can email photos or text photos or videos to the frame. So my kids used to do this. My parents have one, and the kids used to occasionally like send these little videos of them telling jokes. And my parents would all of a sudden, they just have the frame on, and the frame will just rotate through whatever photos and videos. You can create playlists and whatever, but it just rotates through them. And every once in a while, a new video would pop up with my youngest telling a joke, and it would scare the bejesus out of my parents because all of a sudden the kids are talking and they're not here. So they're like looking
Yeah.
around for them. But that's actually what's really fun is both of these, it's like you can keep updating. So even if you're not talking about people that are out of town, I mean, what grandparent wouldn't want that,
Right.
honestly, to have new photos of grandkids just
Delivered
popping up or
wirelessly. Yep.
nieces and nephews or anything.
Yeah.
Though I have one, like I said, I have an old one in my office, which has an SD card, but it actually just rotates through vacation photos for
Yeah.
me. No,
Yeah.
there's no family. Well, there's family in the sense that if the family was on vacation with me, they're in the photos, but otherwise it's mostly vacation photos. But my parents' one are all kid photos, and I think my brother has sent some to that frame. Like we just give the, be careful who you give the address to and make sure you're
Right.
giving it to people who are responsible with it. Clearly my younger son was not, but anybody, so anybody that you give the information to can send stuff to those frames,
Right.
which is super fun.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite gifts, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
me too. I like those a lot. I like those a lot.
what else you got?
Okay. So if you want people to be, let's see, I'm looking through my list. I actually have a blog post, a lot of stuff on here. But if you, uh, okay, this is probably, maybe this is a more me thing, but if you have people in your life that you want to get more organized with their documents and things, so that that will maybe make your life easier later on down the road. Trustworthy is one I really like, and we interviewed Nat just last month, so he's the November episode, which is episode 17, I think. And it is a great way. This is, I think I mentioned it on that podcast, but I actually asked my husband for this as a gift, because I wanted us to get all our stuff in order. And this is, a little bit off track of photos, but it's got to do with, it's the same type of thing. It's getting all of your things organized,
Well, and
in
putting
a way
them in
that
a
makes sense.
secure place.
Yeah.
So a lot of people take pictures before they go on their trip, and they take pictures of their driver's license and their passport and their they're this or they're that, maybe their travel documents or whatever, and they put it in their photo library. That's not really safe.
Yeah.
So you want to find a safe place for those types of documents. And with us both being privacy advocates, we both just, really fell in love with this product and appreciate how secure it is. And so I actually am also an account holder, and I am thrilled that I have so much of my tax documents, my business legal documents, my LLC paperwork, my insurance. I have secure passwords that, maybe it goes to the safe or to my main password keeper,
Mhm.
so then I added my brother, who is my executor. So I've got him in as a guest, so that should he need access, should something
Mhm.
happen and I'm incapacitated, he's
And
got,
that really is a gift to him,
yes.
right? Because that makes his life, should something happen to you. And I don't like this
So
dire thing this path we're going down now,
no, but it's
but it makes it
being
easier for
sensible.
him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
And so
totally.
he'll just know what to do. So
Yeah.
that's one that I really like. To take us to a lighter note,
Yes.
one of my favorites, and going back to the fact that my dog, runs my life. I have gotten in the past my children pillows of the dog. So there are now several companies that will do this. You send in a picture of your pet, and they send you back a pillow shaped like your pet, a dog, a cat. I mean, I'm sure you could probably do just about anything. I don't know. Um, and so that pet can be with them always in pillow form. That's one of my favorites. That's super easy, very easy. So if you've got people where you're like, okay, I don't know what to get them, I don't have a lot of time, but I know they love their dog or their cat, get them a pet pillow. You can get little ones, you can get big ones.
That's
Um,
fun. I
it's
didn't know
very
that.
fun.
I didn't know they cut them out to
Oh
the
yeah.
pet profile.
Oh yeah. Some of them do it two-sided too. Although what I think would be funnier. So we did a two-sided one and it was the same picture on both sides, which is fine. But I
Yeah.
actually think it would have been funnier to have a front and
A
a
photo
back.
of the, yeah. So
Yes.
take a photo of the front of the dog and take a
Yes.
photo of the back and send that in. That would be funny.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that would be fun. I
Yeah.
think that would be fun. I want to take us, okay, I'm going to take us on a little side thingy here. Because when you were talking about passwords and privacy, so this is really off topic, but we're going to do it anyway. I just got my new iPhone. I know you did too,
Hmm.
Susan. So I am now beholden to AT&T for another 3 years because I upgraded my iPhone 13 and the little monthly, payments wore out because you sell yourself to them for 3 years, at least with
Yep.
AT&T, and get your new phone. So I got my new phone. And there's two ways to, as you know, there's two ways to get everything onto your new phone. You can either do it the automatic way, and essentially one phone talks to the other, or you get it down from the cloud. Or you can do it the manual way where you go, app by app. So in the past, I've actually done it the manual way because I like to clean out my stuff at the same time, but I did not have time this time. So I did it the automatic way. And luckily, I have not yet bricked my other phone, my old one, to send in. I discovered, and this is getting to privacy, so this is taking us back. I swear there's a relationship here. I have used multiple different authenticators. So just to remind people, with all important accounts, you should have two-factor authentication, which means that you have a username and a password, but you also either have a fingerprint,
Or they send you
face
an email,
recognition, or they send you an email, or they send you a text,
text. Yeah.
or you can use an authenticator, which means that you put in your email, you put in your password, and then you have to look at your authenticator app, and it gives you usually, I think they're all 6-digit codes
That
that you put in.
rotate every few seconds.
Yeah, it's like every 15
Minute.
or 20
Yeah.
seconds or
Yeah.
something. So I had 3 different ones of these authenticators on my other phone.
Ooh.
I think I was trying out different ones at different times, and I was too lazy to combine them all. So I get the new phone, and not everything transfers over. So
Right.
like I said, luckily I hadn't bricked the old one. But this is something to watch out for. If you are getting here's the tie. If you are getting a new
Getting a new
phone
phone.
for
Yep.
the holidays, when
Centralize your 2FA account.
yeah, so well, but check them,
Yes.
because I was using 3 different ones. Like I said, I had Google, Microsoft, and LastPass,
Yep.
and then there was one other that was kind of outdated I didn't need, but not everything transferred over properly.
Right.
So why is that important? Well, one of those accounts only used an authenticator. It did not have an alternate phone or email. And had I bricked that phone and that took the authenticator with it, I would have been, I'm sure you can recover it somehow, but it would not be easy.
One would hope, but you don't want to go down that path.
You don't want to go down that path.
I would recommend, if you haven't looked into it, this is my tech review. I use one called Authy, AUTHY, and it allows you to create a secure backup. And so anytime you install it on any new device, you can put it on, your phones, your tablets, iPads, whatever. And so I have 2 phones, and I have that authenticator both on my Android and on my iPhone, and it ties into all my same authenticator accounts. So what's nice is if one phone
So
is,
you would not have had this problem.
I would not have, because they're all centralized, with the exception though of my Microsoft authenticator, because Microsoft requires that if you have a Live or a Hotmail or something like that, and you've set up 2FA or an Outlook account, they want you to use their authenticator. And so
I think that's why I had 3 initially, is because
here's the other
Microsoft
one,
wanted
Adobe.
it. And yeah.
Have you ever, downloaded the Adobe authenticator? That's the other one.
No, I have not used that one.
Yeah. So, but those all 3, the Authy, Microsoft, and the Adobe account access all came across fine. So yeah.
Yeah.
But
I had issues with all 3. I will say that Microsoft 365 does not require you to use Microsoft Authenticator, because that's one. So what I did when I was dealing with this with a new phone, I put them all into the LastPass Authenticator. So everything's in one spot. And that includes my Microsoft one. So maybe that's changed, but you don't need to use the Microsoft Authenticator anymore. But that's why I had multiples of them, because I had to use the Microsoft one for the Microsoft account, and then this and that. So, and there are ways to revisit. Yeah. So and that may just be a tip for anyone anyway. If you're using these authenticators, one, make sure that you have another way to authenticate if you can. Not all accounts will allow you to do that. Some only allow you to do one thing, but you should always have both. If you can do an authenticator or a phone or an email at any time. But I also did learn that you can port them over. You can get them to generate new QR codes so that you can use them in different apps. But it's just something to watch out for. So to tie it back in, if you are getting someone or yourself a new phone for the holidays, just double check all of your 2FA. And it's actually a really good time to do a
To
little
back up.
privacy audit and backup.
So if you've
You can
got
get
them,
secure codes from all of these accounts.
yeah,
In case you lose your authenticator, you can get a secure code. Of course, you have to have a place to put it. So maybe put those in trustworthy, actually, would be a good spot for those.
yeah.
Um, so,
Before we uh move on to the next subject, I just want to say there is a way for you to gather all the other random authenticator apps, and what you have to do is go to the account that requires it. You have to log in, you have to turn 2FA off,
yeah,
then you have to turn 2FA back on, and then you add that account to the proper
yeah,
authenticator app that you want to gather them all into.
yeah. That's what
So,
I ended up doing. And it was fine. It wasn't a big deal. But this is why you should never brick that other phone right away.
right.
And why you should have multiple ways of getting into things. But
And
everybody
then
should be doing this. Everybody should have 2FA for
everybody, yeah.
literally everything. And if you think it's not important, just trust me, it is. You should have it for your Apple. Well, Apple requires it now, I think. You should have it for every account that has personal information.
That gives you that opportunity,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And then if you are wanting to back up your phone, I think we've talked about iMazing. That does
Oh,
great
yeah.
iPhones. And then if you're
They always have sales actually this time of year. I haven't
yeah.
seen them yet. Have you seen them? Because I think I'm almost positive they always have a Black Friday sale.
And then with your Google phone, if you've got an Android phone, I should say, um, there wasn't always an easy way to back up my text messages on my Android, but there is an app called SMS Backup, and that's how I back up my text messages. Everything else will migrate over pretty well on an
Mhm.
Android without any other backups needed. But on the iPhone, um, iMazing is
Yeah.
amazing. So
With SMS backup, I know with iMazing, if you want to like export all those old text messages, I've had a couple clients that have wanted to do that there's specific reasons you might want to save those in a PDF or a text format. Does SMS backup do that for Android? Do
So
you
the
know?
way this app works for me is that it backs it up to my Gmail account. So it comes in and I tag all of them with an SMS tag. And they're all in my Gmail. So every
So
time
you
my
could pull
phone
them
gets,
out.
so I could pull them out using look up a
Yeah.
tag. Yeah.
I love tagging on email. Actually, that we'll work that into some future episode. I'm a big tagger
Yep.
of
So am
email. I
I.
found it a lot easier. Um,
All right.
well,
So
okay. So speaking
the,
of backup, I think
yes.
give us some more tech.
All right. So my next one is get especially during the holidays, you're going to have a lot of tech on sale. Now's the
Mhm.
time to Oop. Now's the time to buy your external hard drives. And this is the brand I recommend. It's a Samsung. This is now their latest version, and it's a T9. It's almost twice as fast as the T7s. And so it's just amazing. And they come in 1, 2, and 4 terabyte versions. And this is the SSD that I love. I buy for clients when I'm working on digital projects, and you want to buy at least 2 of them at a time. So whatever you're backing up, or you need to migrate from an older hard drive to a new one, get another very similar sized one so that you can create a backup of that and get in that habit. I also have one of these little Sharpies that is kind of a goldy, or not gold, silver color. And I write now on these black external hard drives the year that I purchased them, because years fly by, and most hard drives last anywhere between 3 and 5 years. If you get more time out of it, great, but then it becomes iffy. Things can
Mhm.
get um, your hard drive can fail. So, and I've had hard drives fail. So, check out the Samsung T9 portable
Mhm.
um, hard drive.
The
That's mine.
T7s are still really good too. The T7 is the older model and
Yep.
probably is less expensive now. I use,
Well,
and I also like Crucial drives, CRUI.
here's the
No, yeah, those are
T7.
really good too. I
But you'll see
actually
here
like,
1,000 uh up to 1050 megabits per second, and the T9s are 2000.
I
It's
think it
well worth
depends
it.
what you're using them for, though. So you and I do a lot of heavy moving of
Digital
files and things,
transfers.
but
Yeah.
for most people that are just backing up and doing incremental,
Yeah.
I think they can sometimes spend a little bit less, get a slower drive because it's just you're not transferring terabytes at a time.
Yeah.
So good option. I also like Crucial as
Yes.
a drive. They're very reliable, at least
I
so
have a
far for me.
I have a
Yeah.
very tiny crucial
Yeah.
crucial. And this one, as you can see, there's my 2024, and it's a 2 terabyte. This is
Yeah.
also a great tiny little external hard drive. Love them.
Yeah. I actually prefer getting different manufacturers. I don't like buying a lot of drives at once because if there's a bad batch, both of them could go down. So I
Right.
actually usually will get, say, a Samsung and a Crucial or, different places or whatever, just so that they don't go down at once. I think that doesn't happen very often. Frankly,
Yeah, but
you and
when you
I are a
see a
little bit
sale
more
though,
doomsday, but if you
right.
see a good sale, and
Yeah.
they will all be on sale now from Amazon, from like B&H Photos, another good one. Best Buy probably has them too.
Yep.
And they will all be on sale
Yep.
for the next month
So just buy
or
in
so.
pairs. That's my recommendation.
Yep. That's a good one. Let's see, what else have we got here? How about we move to some photo taking tips
Okay.
for the holidays? So here's my first one is don't take any. Put your camera down. So on the photo show with people who make their money off of people taking too many photos, Susan and I am actually going to say that tip number one is, when you're at your family dinner, you're at a family gathering, I think you can miss a lot by just trying to take all the photos. And I can almost guarantee you that if you don't, somebody else is going to anyway, so you can get them. But like we make it a habit in our family. We don't ever have phones out during meals. And that actually is also true for holiday meals. So, first tip would be, maybe leave it in the kitchen. But if that doesn't happen, then I would say tip number two is just take a few and move on. Like you don't need 18 different pictures of your family table. One, probably do it. And you should take that one. Maybe grandma's china is on that table. And 20 years from now, someone's going to look at that back at that picture fondly of grandma's china.
Right.
Um, yeah.
So here's a couple for me. If you want to take Allison's approach and not walk around with the camera all day, get one of your cameras, whether it's a professional DSLR or mirrorless or even an iPhone, stick it in the corner on a tripod and set it up on time
Oh, with
lapse.
your little doohickey, you could just
Yeah,
sort of walk around with your little thing and click it every few minutes.
right. So put it in a corner somewhere that can take a picture of the group setting. You can do that. The other thing that I would say is think about if you're the one prepping, so everyone's coming to your house, take some as you're setting up the tree,
Mhm.
as you're, in the kitchen prepping, as you're, setting up the table before the guests arrive. And then as you have before everybody, starts diving into the food. I had last year around Thanksgiving, I cooked a very nice dinner, and completely forgot to take pictures when people were at the table.
Mhm.
As the host, it's hard to remember. So help the host out, and try and grab their phone and take some pictures. Or ask them because maybe they would love you to do that because they got their hands full. The
Yeah.
other
I
thing
actually
is,
love pictures of place. I do think like we scan a lot of photos that have older holidays, the little square black and whites or whatever. And when families see those and they see, oh my gosh, that's the same, those are the same plates that I'm using now 80 years later. Like I think that's just cool. So I do
yeah,
actually always take those pictures
yeah.
also. Yeah.
And here's another idea. Set up an area, maybe by the Christmas tree with a couple of chairs or something that can be your photo area. So as guests arrive, you ask them to sit down and you can get pictures of them. So you could have like a little photo booth or something.
See,
Um,
that's an interesting one that I would never do in a million years. That's kind of that's just to me, I wouldn't, but I like the idea of it in theory. I have to think
And
about
you
that
can
one.
also let them take pictures of themselves if you set up a tripod,
Yeah,
and they can put their
yeah,
phone up there and they can, take pictures of themselves. One Christmas, this was back on Maui. We got our group of colleagues together, and one colleague dressed up as Santa. So I brought my camera and set up the tripod, and everybody sat on Santa's lap
yeah.
and we took pictures. So it was fun.
Okay, that's another one I would never do, but yeah. So let's be holiday inclusive. And if you don't have Santa,
Yes.
that might creep you out a bit, like it does me. Um, but I will say, it's a very beautiful time of year, regardless of your religion. It's just pretty. There's lights
Yeah.
everywhere, there's decorations everywhere. And I do always try and take pictures of the season. So, I've watched our neighbors go kind of nuts over the years, and it's gotten much, much more so since COVID. Pre-COVID, it was pretty. There were some trees or some lights, but post-COVID, oh my gosh, you walk around our neighborhood, there's those wickets with lights going down all the sidewalks. There's like blow up reindeer and things. There's just stuff everywhere. And those are kind of fun. And again, you don't need to take too many of those. I mean, these are really not pictures you're going to frame in your house. These are remember what's happening pictures. They're everyday life pictures.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I would do that. And I would also, perhaps when you are in your post-food coma or, trying to sort of get back to real life, early January is a great time to quickly go back through and delete all the junk because no matter what you end up doing, you're going to have too many that you really don't need.
Yeah.
So go back and clean them out a
And
bit.
don't just take photos, take some videos. I know with the new
Yes.
iPhone, they have a couple, I don't know how much you've been playing with yours, but if you go into your camera app that comes with your iPhone, there's actually two new options. There's a cinematic video, and that's pretty cool because it does the blurring in the background, which you can do with photos and you weren't able to do easily with video before. And then it also has the new spatial option when you take photos, and that's your 3D options that, of course, we'll have to wait for the tech to be able to view it properly, like
Yeah.
in the future with a VR headset or something. But maybe start taking some spatial, even though you can't enjoy it in this moment. In
Mm.
the future, you'll look back and think, "Wow, that was pretty cool."
Yeah. I always forget to take videos. That's actually a really good reminder. I
Yeah.
always forget to take videos. I'm a photo person, not so
Yeah,
much. But
I love video.
I wish I had more. I just always forget to take them. Um,
Yeah. Well, I'm at a point in
yeah.
my life where, many family, my parents and one brother have passed. So to drum up some old video is just really heartwarming. I just
Yeah.
love seeing them again, animated and talking and laughing. And so, yeah.
Yeah. I always I mean, I took a fair number of videos when the kids were little. I don't as much anymore because they hate when I do it. But sometimes we do them around this time of year when we aren't going to be seeing family or friends, and we'll do a little video just to send to them saying, hey, happy holidays, thinking of you and whatever. And I always save those. And I save
Yeah.
the ones I receive too.
That's a great idea. Yeah. I haven't sent
Yeah.
personalized video. That could be another
Yeah, we
gift
we
idea.
don't do too many. It's a great gift idea, actually. We don't do too
Yeah.
many. I mean, it's really if we're not seeing a certain set of grandparents or, cousins or uncles. I don't. These aren't things that I blast out on social media or, any of that kind of thing. They're just for us. I do still video a little bit of, we celebrate multiple holidays in my house, mixed religious family over here. In fact, we celebrate literally everything because the rest of my family's is dual citizenship. So we celebrate all sorts of things. But I do still do some video on Christmas morning because I never had Christmas morning growing up. So I still find it amusing, more fun when the kids were little, but And those are fun. I always take too many, so this goes back to clean them out shortly thereafter because you really don't need them all. You don't.
Yeah.
I will say, and you can probably guess this, is the first video I always take is the dog with his new phone or whatever because he's the most fun.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
and I keep those too. And they all get tagged. Everything gets tagged in the library so we can find it again.
Metadata. Yeah, that's important.
Yep. And actually, here's another little free gift you could do is which doesn't take a ton of time. So if you have a good friend or family or whoever, one fun thing could be to just create a really quick slideshow of pictures of you and that friend or family member together. And you can just do that on your phone, create an album on your phone, find a few pictures that you like, stick them in there, create a short video, very easy on iPhones or Android, and just send that,
Yep.
you know. And I think that's a nice one.
It means you that person's important and you took some time out of your life to
Yeah.
gather up important memories and put a little something together. So yeah, lovely.
Yeah, I think I like those. And those get saved
Yes.
too. Yeah.
Which is why companies like Facebook and Apple and Google
Yeah.
have always had those where they'll scan your photo album and they'll offer up these
Yeah.
memories for you.
Yeah.
So because they know it pulls at your heartstrings.
Yeah. Although there are some misses there. I had Apple do one, say, and I forget what it was called exactly, but it was literally something like you and the trees. And it just pulled up and made the slideshow of me in the woods. I was like, okay, it's really not one
That's
that I
funny.
need to save, but yes, I do like nature. Um, yeah, and as an FYI, I don't know if people know this, but you can actually save those videos. I did not save that one.
Yeah.
But when I get one that's like Loki, my dog, and friends, I actually save those and I send them to his little dog buddy moms because they're
Yeah.
so funny. So
And
remember that you
oftentimes
can
you can
save those.
edit them.
Yes, you can swap out pictures. I think when they first came out, you couldn't, but now you can
Right.
swap out the pictures that are in there. You can change the
Yeah.
music. Just be aware if you are going to post any of them on like YouTube or something. I did that once a while ago and I didn't even think about it. And
The
then it was kicked
music.
out because of the music. And I
Yep.
always think about that when I'm creating videos for me or for clients. But for some reason, it didn't dawn on me with that video of the day. I guess I just kind of assumed if Apple's using it, then it must be fine, but it's not. So you may have to swap out the music or take the music out.
Yep.
But those are fun. Those are fun to send
Definitely.
and to save. Yeah.
Well, I
So
think we did a great job.
well,
I
hopefully
mean,
people found some fun things and I had fun.
I
Uh,
loved your tips.
and
The pillow is great. Love that.
Yeah, and I mean, to be clear, we do this podcast because we have fun doing this podcast. So this was a fun episode for us to do. And yeah, hopefully our listeners got some ideas. And if you have additional ideas, send them in. Maybe we can figure out a way to, if we get some good ones, maybe we can add those to the show notes too,
Yes.
so that we can crowdsource that a little bit. If we were smart, we would have actually, put it in show notes or said it on our prior podcast saying send them in, but we don't always think that far ahead.
Yes.
Um,
Well, this was our brainchild and it, you know, we decided to do it as our end of the year episode.
yeah.
Next year is going to be awesome. And if you have any ideas for future episodes or people or companies we should talk to or interview, please let us know. If
Or
you've got
things you want to learn.
questions, yes,
Yeah, things
you've
you
got
want to learn how to
questions,
do, please send them in. Because we love that. We take all of that. I know we do have some listeners that have sent in, well, one, we've done some listener questions on the air, but we've also had listeners send in some things they wanted to learn about, and that becomes an episode.
right?
So absolutely send them in to the submit a question link that's always in our show notes on insidephotoorganizing.com. Um, And I will say to wrap up this whole gift and holiday season episode, Susan and I are both small business owners. So this time of year, like on my social media, I try and highlight other small business owners, and I feel like every year it gets more and more important to support small businesses. We support each other. I've tried to get a little bit more. We've talked about you can just get this on Amazon, et cetera. And a lot of things we've talked about are harder to get from small businesses, but maybe think about if you can go instead of ordering from Amazon or going over to Best Buy, maybe visit the small businesses in your area. Maybe they'll have some great things too.
For sure. And your
Yeah.
reviews and ratings really do help us. That's how other people can find us. So that's another,
That's a great gift.
yes, that's a
Go
great
ahead and
gift.
review your small
So,
businesses. Yeah.
so,
Yeah. All
and
right.
we thank everyone who's listening. We may not know you personally, but we are glad you're here and listen.
Yeah. And we'll see you in 2025.
Yeah. So one more done in the can for 2024, and
Yeah.
we'll catch you next month.
Yeah. Season 3 next month.
All right,
All
Allison.
right.
I love this. Let's keep it going.
All right. Have a great day, Susan.
You too. Bye for now.
Bye for now.
That's it for our show today. Remember, you can find this episode on all of your favorite podcast apps. Be sure to click follow so you can stay up to date with the latest in photo organizing. We'll catch you next month.